Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast for a brand new episode, Tuesday night. That's the only thing it means. Pancake Day, Champions League later on, and a new episode of the podcast. So, again, joined by Lewis. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, my man. How you doing? Enjoying Pancake Day?
I'm good. I've had about 8 pancakes there, so I'm good to go. So it's been an interesting week. All Rangers sort of news included. Obviously, we get a really good win at Kilmarnock, and then obviously this comes out about COVID in the Sunday. So we'll talk about a wee bit on the Kelly game. Obviously, we've got an instant match reaction to that game on our YouTube channel. So if you like to maybe check that out, that's our thoughts coming out like 5 minutes after the game, which may be a bit better than now, but that's it as well. We'll talk about that COVID stuff, and we'll obviously take a preview into Antwerp, who we play on Thursday. So we'll take a look at them, their star players, their results and such, what sort of task that's going to be. So if you like this podcast as well, like, subscribe, and the socials will be on the screen. So starting with Rangers and Kelly then. Obviously, we talked about it. We thought it was a decent second half performance. Good goal, obviously, for Ryan Jack. We wanted to maybe see more goals. But now that you're obviously settled on that, do you feel that was just a good win to get and another one ticked off?
100%, mate. 100%. I've got to agree with you there. Just important to win the game, as I say to you all the time. It's just important to win your home games, especially. Disappointed, obviously, where we didn't really... I wouldn't say we didn't turn up first half, but it wasn't the best first half. In second half, it's a lot more better. But no, I'm just happy with the win.
No, much like myself, happy with the win. Just with the way Rangers have been this season, I'm wanting to see more comfortable wins. But I know with this sort of stage of the season, you've got Kilmarnock, obviously, with Tommy Wright, well-oiled machine. Even after one or two games, they're going to be defending. They're going to be hard to beat, which they were. It was a 1-goal deficit at the end of the day, and everybody's scraping for points. We're scraping for points at the top end of the table to get a League One. Kilmarnock, and on the other hand, will be scraping for points to stay in the league. So this is the sort of predicament you find yourself in. I think we've only got about 2, maybe 3 teams outside the top 6 to face until that split happens. So, I feel it was a great victory. As I said,
Tremendous mate.
And you know what Tommy Wright's teams are like. So it was a good win, and we got that one out of the way. Ryan Jack, of course, I've been had on repeat a very few times this week already. It's just unbelievable for Ryan Jack. Definitely cement himself in that team once again. Probably next to Davis is two important midfielders that we've got. As you've seen that impact they made at Hamilton, although the result wasn't there. They done very well and try to impact the game in a positive way for us when they came on. So happy about that one. And Kelly, we move on. But before, I've got a quick question about Cedric Itten. I've seen a lot of stick he's got on Twitter about maybe not. He holds the ball up well, maybe not clinical enough in front of goal. He's only ever scored 4 goals in the league, and they're all against Motherwell. So I feel he done all right. With the chances he got, I still feel the service he got was limited, but maybe he just needs to back himself, because a couple of times he had the ball, maybe took an extra touch and such. So what do you think about him?
Yeah, I've got to agree with yourself there, mate. For me, we all know he's not going to be number one striker. We know that he's not the quality of Akim Arrow for Alfredo Morelos. He's still a good player to have in a squad. I was a bit concerned. I thought that boy for Arsenal, Eric Kilmarnock, have got him loan, was giving him a good physical
he looked
battle.
All right, centre back, by the way.
He did. Maybe one for the... No, I'm joking. No, but I agree with you. He needs to back himself maybe a wee bit more. He obviously wasn't getting the service, do you know what I mean? But no, mate, I would... he's not going to be the number one choice striker. That's the thing, do you know what I mean? He's a good hand to have. As I said, he's a landlord of Motherwell. He owns that part of Scotland. So I just think he needs to, as you say, mate, I think it'll come. Still new to the league. I know he said time to sort of adapt, but still new to the league, I feel like, as well. Maybe next season he'll be a bit more confident, but I don't feel like you could give him criticism, to be honest with you, mate. He's still a top player to have, do you know what I mean, to bring on.
Aye. I think he is a really good player. He's Swiss international as well. Still young. Obviously, we brought him in for that fee, £3.5–4 million or something like that. So he's still got time to push on.
I
To get his better years. Obviously, hopefully we see them with Rangers. Because I know a lot of fans can get on players' backs, and it's just not good for themselves. Going on like Eros Grezda. I'm not saying he was the greatest player ever, but like the fans were completely on his back the full time and stuff like that. Cedric Itten, I liked his performance at the weekend for the team. Anyway, he held the ball up well, got us up the park as he normally does when he's on the pitch. Puts in a good graft. He never just like gives up. I'll say that about Ryan Kent as well. Obviously, we expect so much of Ryan Kent on goal scoring, assists and that, but Ryan Kent works his arse off for the team in and out of possession. I will say that him and Cedric are very, very similar in that kind of respect. So I definitely one we'll need to take our time with. He's been given limited opportunities to start matches, unlike Alfredo and Roof. So obviously they're going to be more up to the task. So I do feel Cedric Itten maybe next season, maybe even if we can get the next sort of games won, maybe he comes into the side as well, makes an impact. You never know, but I feel like he's getting undeserved criticism. I'll say that.
No, I've got to agree with you, mate. But how many times have we seen a player that, do you know what I mean, trying his heart out, but he's just getting criticism? How many times have we seen that with players up here? Do you know what I mean? I think Cedric has the potential to say to be a quality forward. Do you know what I mean? He's not going to be number one at the moment in time because of Kima and Morelos. But for me, he's somebody that if they two are out, I'm happy that he's my starting striker.
Yeah, 100%, and I feel that's a good note to leave it on. We won't probably see him on Thursday, maybe off the bench, but it was good to see him for a few games.
His goals as well, mate, innit? It's his quality of his goals so far. You look at the strike offs against Motherwell, I think his European goal was a pretty decent goal as well. So for me, he's a top player. Just get the ball into the box more on the head, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing that's frustrating. Do you know what I mean? Cross the ball, big guy, can stick his head on it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's definitely got everything in his locker to be a great striker. So I feel like if we take our time with him, hopefully get him up to speed, get him more confident, he'll definitely be a good servant to Rangers. I feel anyway. I really back the guy, and I hope it all works out for him. But we move on to negativity. Sadly, it's really been short-lived, to be honest, when we've done the podcast this season. But again, there's been a COVID breach of sort. I don't actually know for definite if this has even happened, if these players are guilty, but all the news me and you have seen lead towards Patterson, Bassey, Dapple Mabudi, who's on loan at Queen of the South, as a Rangers player, of course, attending a house party gathering. It was broke up at 1 a.m. or something like that at the weekend, and police warrants and fines were given out. Quality police. So I just like to, we talked about it obviously because it angered us at the time, but I'd love to hear your thoughts about if these players are guilty, what is realistically next?
What I'd say, mate, is they're really, really stupid. You think you'd learn for Jones and Edmondson about obviously at the start when that happened, you would think you would know not to do it and stupid. But it's one of the just daft young lad things, innit? I'm really, honestly, mate, I can't believe it. Like, there's a lot of young lads that I know anyway, do you know what I mean, that me and you know that are Rangers fans that would give Enten to play for that club. Do you know what I mean? Speaking of that, Jack, there's somebody I've got I'm not going to get the card, mate. No, for me, mate, punishment has to be out. That you're no welcome at the club. You can't be doing this. You can't, especially in a pandemic when a lot of people, do you know what I mean? A lot of fans are limited to what they can do. They can't come to the games. They can't support the team. Do you know what I mean? And you look at the team as well, as I'm saying, like Tav, Davis, all these lads that have popped the shifts in this season to get us to where we're going. And it's this kind of bad negative press that's going to bring it down a bit. For me, if they're staying, they're cleaning the floors, they're scrubbing the scud marks off the toilet. Al McGregor better be in that toilet, letting it rip. But no, it's unacceptable, mate. It really is. It's unacceptable. Do you know what I mean? Young lads at the football club. Do you know what I mean? You think with Gerard's put his neck on the line for Patterson, and obviously my boy Bassey, if he is involved, let me down like that. Do you know what I mean? He's no longer my boy if it's true. I'll tell you that right now. I'm taking that wee whatever hat that is he's got on.
No, the
I'm taking
bucket
it
hat.
off. His bucket hat, well, he'll be going in the bucket at the end of this. I tell you that. I'll be taking that off and I'll be scalping you, mate, because honestly, obviously we don't know what's going on at the moment, but if it is true what's happened, can't be happening, mate. It's not acceptable at the club.
Nah, because there's obviously a lot of evidence. Not sort of evidence. Like, there's a lot of talk come out about it that it is these players. Obviously, I hold my hands up. If this comes true, if you're watching this podcast at a later date and nothing's happened, I'm deeply sorry. But as of now, this is what we've got to work with. And if it is true, I agree we should have learned for the Jones and Edmondson incident. I feel like the management team would have sat down with every player as a group and told them the rules, told them the consequences if this is happening. And sadly, it's had to happen again, because you've seen what even happened with Jones and Edmondson in the aftermath of that. They were banned for 7 games, moved on immediately in January on loan, and that's probably their Rangers careers down the drain. Just because of something so silly like going to a party. It's just, we look up to these players. We look up to them in a high regard, because obviously they've delivered great football for us thus far. We're sitting in lockdown. We can't go anywhere. We're sitting with Rangers as our happiness in the house. And you just don't want to see these guys going out ruining it for the fans, the players, and everybody associated with the club, because it's just, it's not on at all.
Mate, all just to get with some wee stupid asses. Do you know what I mean? They want to go, what, look me, I've got clout on Rangers players as at a gaffer.
Yeah, I know, man.
Some Primark, she wants to be Instagram famous, do you know what I mean? What are you doing wasting your time with that? Stay in the house. Do you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure there's ways to keep you entertained, young lads. There's Xboxes, there's Wii Fits. I know Wii Fits are popular. I don't know, no. It's just, mate, as I say, if it is true. Another one, I sent you that picture of Wagani Zungu in it.
Mm-hmm.
I see that, right? See him here. It seems like he's come up here for a wee party and a wee swally. It seems like, honestly, see if you've been swallowing, mate, your performances haven't been good enough. You're out the door. For me, I wouldn't touch players like that are coming up here, especially Steven Gerrard. Why would you muck about with Gerrard as your manager? Imagine after the thing, mate, I could imagine him screaming at the players. Even, do you know what I mean? Why are you going to piss somebody like Steven Gerrard off? Do you know what I mean? Especially if you're a young lad like Patterson, where it's clear that if towards the end of the season, if we're, do you know what I mean, close to doing what we want to do, that you're going to get game time, you're going to probably get minutes. You've just blew it up.
I feel like the most annoying thing about Patterson for me is the fact that every single time Patterson's got an opportunity, or every single time Gerrard's asked about Patterson, he spoke him so highly. He's like, look, watch this guy, he's going to be one for the future. I back him so highly. He got his opportunity in Lech Poznan, which Gerrard promised him. He got a start in Europe, so it's 19, 20-year-old, same age as me and you, getting a start in Europe. Steven Gerrard backs him highly. And it just doesn't make sense to me why you would want to go and jeopardise that sort of relationship you have with the manager. I don't get it.
In the hand, it feeds you, mate.
Aye, it's exactly that. And I really hope it's not true for his sake, for Bassey's sake. You look at Bassey as well, a guy that came into the team towards the start of the season. We didn't know at the start of the season if we signed him to be a youth player. Came right into the first team, didn't look out of place. Obviously, that St Mirren game was a letdown for him, but didn't look out of place. Always looked like one for the future. Maybe if Barisic moves on in the summer or such, and then he can slot straight in. But I just don't see how these two players can come back if this is proven to be true with the two of them, because they'll be banned. They might miss what is going to be a legendary sort of season to be a Rangers player, and
especially at that age.
Exactly, at that age, it'll be something that will live with you, spur you on for the rest of your career, I would hope. So
you can party on after the pandemic and after this, mate. You've won 55, do you know what I mean? But as I say, lads better be in the toilets, scrubbing them scrud marks right off with a toothbrush or whatever. Because honestly, if it's true, you're scraping the floor, do you know what I mean? Have the lassie for Family Guy in the background saying, what's that mad Mexican one in it? That's quite funny.
Oh, Consuela, the wee cleaner woman.
She can stand there and watch them as they clean. Because honestly, mate, as I say, how many lads do we know that are properly good footballers, but do you know what I mean? Only at that kind of level, do you know what I mean, that would give to play there. Obviously, myself, I'd be top notch if Gerrard leads me to the end of the season. I'm only joking. No. I take it, but Gerrard, I wouldn't dent stupid like that. I'm available if you need us. That's
No,
all I'll say.
of course, yes.
What's the type player?
Aye, it's just I've been thinking about it just a lot in anticipation of doing the podcast, and that it's bothered me. I feel like the Rangers fans have right to be angry about it.
100%.
I've seen a lot of people being like, "Why you is quick to throw your players under the bus and all this kind of thing." I mean, it's not the fact that like I like him or you don't. It's like they could jeopardise something that means so much to everybody involved. And I just don't want that to happen. I seen Sturgeon on the telly the day say, or was it yesterday, get your own house in order and all that kind of thing. I feel like Rangers' house is in order because Rangers are doing every sort of protocol. You see them in the telly, interviews, wearing masks all the time.
100%.
They're respectful to every sort of instance. They've managed these 2 COVID cases very well, in my opinion. It's not Rangers. It's just stupid individuals at the end of the day that are making that.
Exactly, mate. 100%. Mate, I'm frustrated with it. It's the same as you. You know what I mean? When this kind of stuff happens, you think about players like Tavernier, who's been with for Championship, obviously getting back into the Premiership, and he's had a lot of stick. Do you know what I mean? I just think what it's going to mean to him to be the captain at lift. Do you know
exactly.
what I mean? And
top professionals, as you said at the start of this when we talked about it, top professionals that have put in every sort of thing. Goldson's played every single minute of this league season. Like he's become an absolute like legend at this point. To be honest with you, every single minute, Tavernier is a captain contributing like mad. McGregor saving his time and time again. Davis just anchoring the midfield at 36. Ryan Jack as well, who I feel was another one that should get a mention. Comes straight back into the team, never looks out of place. We've got quality over the park. Like that 11, I don't like it being disrupted, and I don't like things like this happening to the club anyway, because you never know the repercussions of it. So I hope for Rangers, the Football League's sake, and for the players' sake, that this is all just a load of shite. But as for now, why I wanted to talk about it doesn't look like that way. It looks like there could be something about to happen. So we'll talk about it in the coming weeks or next week or whenever it will happen. But as for now, I just wanted to really talk about that because it's frustrating for a lot of Rangers fans.
No, listen, it's frustrating for a lot of Rangers, obviously for the majority of Rangers fans. I know some fans will say, as you said, why quick to hang with them, but listen, look, you can't do that to the club. The club's bigger than any player who's out on the park at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, this has been, but for yourself and me, it's provided us with entertainment throughout this pandemic. Do you know what I mean? And couldn't imagine no having my football team to watch again during this. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Forget that, man.
No, because
exactly.
I feel that's a really good place to end that on. I feel that as we said, the pandemic obviously has been tough. I feel like this ongoing lockdowns have been tougher than the ones in March because we're just fed up with it. We just want to do our own thing again. We want to go back to the football. We want to celebrate with everybody if we win this league. But it's just things like this are just going to jeopardise it, and you never know what's going to happen. So I feel the football has really helped a lot of people cope anyway, and with Rangers playing so well, it has been good on the mind. Obviously, if we were getting pumped every week, it would be tough. But we've been really spoiled with the way Rangers have played football during all this. So hopefully this gets brushed over. Hopefully it's all right, but we'll wait and see. Back on to more positive notes. European journey continues on Thursday. Royal Antwerp. That feels like ages ago since we done that reaction to that. By the way, I swear that was maybe the second or third video on this channel. So we've came a long way for that. And what do you think about this one? Obviously, Antwerp, Belgium sitting second in the Belgium league. Good form. They were like I think 8th when we drew them or something like that. Rangers form's maybe dipped a wee bit in terms of the way we're playing. We're obviously getting results, but the way we're playing maybe dipped a little bit since that draw was made. They played at the weekend. They played Standard Liège, who were our last opponents in the Europa League, and they drew one each with them. So What do you think going into this one?
Also, it's going to be a difficult game, mate. I know that, as I said to you on the Kilmarnock thing, I know they were on a good run of form before they get beat by Club Bruges. But no, mate, it's good that we sort of had that performance, I'd say, against Kilmarnock, sort of second half, playing a bit more better football just in time before Europe. Expect a difficult game, but at the end of the day, I expect Rangers to turn up, hopefully, and get the win.
No. And even if it isn't a win, I think the important thing with these European ties going away the first leg is just try and keep your defence as solid as possible. Try and score when you can. Obviously, a goal for us would be absolutely crucial away from home. See if we come away with a 1-0 victory, to be honest with you, that'd be a great result. They've got a few danger men, though, I'd like to talk about. Their main striker, I think he's got Lamakel Zay or something like that. He's banned.
Did you say that?
Lamakel Zay. He's Cameroonian. He's a striker. But he's banned for this game, I'm sure. So going for there, they've got obviously got Jordan Lukaku on loan for Lazio, left wing back, brother of Romelu Lukaku. Powerful left wing back with a lot of pace, a lot of power going forward. So he could be one that could hurt us for the flanks. I think they do like to play a 3-4-3 as well, so he will most likely be playing in the right-sided right wing back, Auriello Buta. He's a 24-year-old Portuguese.
Sorry, what's his name?
2 seconds. Auriello Buta. He's a 76 rated rare gold card in FIFA, but he's got blistering pace. The two, him and Lukaku, seem to work well with that system anyway. They've signed Le Marchand for Fulham on loan at centre back.
What's his name?
Le Marchand.
I'm just testing to make sure you
and their other attacking focal points are Leo Rafaelov, who is a Israeli sort of right winger. He's played in the Belgium League for a while with Club Bruges, and now he's at Antwerp. He seems to be probably their most important player, I would say, at the age he is and the area he is in the park. He seems to be one that is really good for them. And Gherkins, who is the
I don't like Gherkins, mate.
Who's the guy that plays up top with Rafaelov and Zay if he was playing. So he scored at the weekend, I think, or he scored in the Club Bruges game. So they've got players all over the park that could hurt us. They seem to play a good system on great form. So as I say, if we get this one, even if it is 0-0, 1-0 to Rangers, I would just love to not concede and then take them back to home at Ibrox and hopefully.
Steady on, mate. Whoa, steady.
No, don't worry. No, that can home. So hopefully take them back to Ibrox if we get a positive result on Thursday, and we can finish off the job there. Because you look at it this way, we don't concede many at Ibrox. We don't gear up much. So I hope we can get by Royal Antwerp, but I feel it is a very tricky tie. I feel it's one that you can't really say, well, on the one hand, we should be beating them. On the other hand, they're that good. They're an in the middle sort of side. It's a tie you would favour, but it's a tricky one as well. So I'm looking forward to getting back to European competition.
Going back to hear the song, mate. That's what I'm looking forward to. I like that we tune before.
The Europa League tune's unbelievable, I think.
Aye.
I'm looking forward to that on Thursday again, and hopefully, as I said, positive result. Moving on to the week after that. So I'm going to go through my team prediction. You can agree, disagree, wherever you would like here, but I'm going to go with McGregor, Tav, Goldson. I think Hollander will come back in because Roof and Balogun are both on. If they get booked, they're banned for the next tie. So I feel like he'll try and protect that. So I think Hollander will start up next to Goldson, Barisic at left back, Davis, Jack, and Kamara. And then I think the front three will be Hadji, Morelos, and Kent. As I said, Roof is available for this one, so he will be travelling. He will be over there, so that's a good boost for us anyway.
Aye. Man seems to like smacking Belgium teams about, doesn't he?
He does, so maybe he'll come off the bench and score for the halfway line again.
Well, maybe it's a back heel this time, do you know what
So do you agree with that side? Was there any changes you would make?
No, 100% agree with that side. As you say, that midfield seems to be the European sort of midfield. Hollander, I'd love to see him come back in. It was a bit weird for me. He was dropped at the weekend there. So I don't know if that's a case where he said to Big Phil, listen, mate, sit out, you'll play Thursday, get a couple of pancakes in you. Balogun boy, step up, you're on a park.
Aye.
No, I agree with the team, mate, 100%. I can't wait to see Alfredo kicking a ball again. Watch him run.
Oh, it feels like absolutely ages, by the way. That was a Hibs game. We've not seen him fade. It just feels like an absolute lifetime ago. So it's going to be a boost for him coming back. You know what he's like in Europe. This is where I feel that Rangers as a team just strive and bump up to a different level. Because if you remember back to the group stages, when we played Benfica home and away, but there was points in that game where we totally dominated for about 40, 45 minutes.
Should have won the game.
And we just sort of switched off at the end, didn't we, both times? But that's times where I've literally looked at Rangers and been like, wow, this team is something else in Europe. If just the Benfica games, Kamara, like just that goal and Everton, Roof's goal, it's just gets me excited for Thursday.
That wee tune gets me excited for Thursday, I tell you that, honestly.
The wee tune.
It's not listening to Alex Ray on commentary, that doesn't get me excited though.
Forgot. I don't mind Alex Ray, but honestly, I don't mind him.
Listen, the boy looks like a thumb bit on that. He seems like a nice man.
You'll be hoping he doesn't come on the podcast anytime soon.
I know. I'm looking forward to it, mate. Just European football finally back. Finally get to watch Morelos play a game of football again. Roof there as well. It shouldn't really be suspended, but we'll leave that at that. No. Midfield, I'm looking forward to even Scotty Arfield's back as well, which is great to see.
That's obviously another one I forgot about. We've got a full strength side going over here. So for me, obviously, there's no complaints about that. There's no room for error. These European ties can go either way when they're a knockout one, right enough. You've seen with Braga last season, I think it was this stage, we were 2-0 down in the 70th minute and ended up coming back to win 3-2. So it's so unpredictable, obviously. That's just probably going to make me go watch it after this now. So we've faced some great sides. I think Antwerp will be up there as well. I really do. Obviously, he's beaten Spurs in that as well this season. So it will be a tricky one. I'm looking forward to it. And Thursday can't come quick enough. And then Sunday, we've got Dundee United. We're just touching that briefly. Obviously, Dundee United get a good win at the weekend against Livingston. 2-0, I think. 2-0. They're sort of nip and tuck with Livingston. They're right next to each other for that top 6 spot. So, to be fair, I'm rooting for Livingston to go and get the top 6. I don't know why I've took such a liking to them, just with David Martindale and his story. I think it's been remarkable.
Aye, mate. No, listen, just going back to Europe, it is going to be a difficult game. But if we do end up hopefully going through, I'm just thinking about it, mate. I want Arsenal. I've just remembered. Aye. I'll tell you why. I'll tell the viewers why, right? Hugh Izzy. That man. I went on his mad thing, on that mad app, and I said, what's from Steven Gerrard and Rangers so far? Dismissed it, of course, Rangers fans. They always dismiss our league because it's a farmers league, this and that. Rangers and Celtic get the most money. How about we just talk about the men on the park kicking the ball? That's what I'm about. So I want Arsenal, I want to batter them in my quartet. But going back to Dundee, mate, we were at home, aren't we?
Aye, home game again.
Aye, listen, we're at home. Let's take care of business. Get the 3 points on the board. Patterson, son, you want to be playing, you'll be in there scrubbing the toilets. Bassey, you can be sitting in there making the steak pies, making everyone's dinner. Aye, that's what's going to be happening.
Aye, to be fair, if it comes out, it's true. I agree with you. But I feel like that is the episode. We've talked about everything. I want to talk about the draw as well, but I want to get it through first before we even mention anything about
I just want to get that in there, mate. I'm sorry because
honestly, I've been saying it for like 3 years now. I'd love an English team, and it's not happened yet. So, I would agree with you. Just I'd love to see like you don't see any coverage over in England about Rangers or Celtic, no matter how good or bad they are doing. I remember watching the draw actually for the Antwerp game, and they totally dismissed Rangers as being like a team for the UK. They were just talking about Arsenal and who's still in it, Leicester,
Man United,
even Spurs. They were only talking about that. So
see, you say that we want, I want Arsenal, but listen, Arsenal have got Benfica, and listen, we should have beat them both games, as I said.
that's going to be an interesting one to look out for, by the way, because we dominated Benfica, as I said, for a while. Obviously, we didn't get the win, but 2 good showings the 2 times we played them. So nice to see if Arsenal cope with that and how that one goes. So we'll be keeping an eye on that one to see what happens. And I'll need to have a look through the other games to see who we can get. But obviously, we'll talk about that at a later date. Is there anything else you would like to touch on before we wrap up?
Mate, what do you put in your pancakes today?
Right, so chocolate chips.
Don't be putting fruit on it. If you put chocolate chips.
Chocolate chips in the pancakes, right? And then a wee bit of Biscoff spread on it.
Right.
And then the Biscoff spread melts. Nah, because you've got the chocolate chips for the chocolate.
Right, okay, fill you in.
What about yourself?
Just Nutella, mate.
Just Nutella?
Aye, honestly.
Loads of it, but...
No, loads of it. I'm not a big fatty, do you know what I mean?
I have loads of Biscoff. I can't say anything.
Well, listen, see when I'm watching that Barcelona game later, I'll probably just take the full jar and just scoff it myself. But chocolate chip pancake, obviously, a bit of Nutella on top, some squishy cream, is it?
Aye.
And then like chocolate chips with it.
Oh.
Aye, mate. Banging. I'm going to go and eat that dinner, actually. Forget my dinner, that's getting...
Well, I'll let you get away to your pancakes, but that is the episode. If you did enjoy this one, like, subscribe, follow the socials that will be on the screen as well. And we'll be back on Sunday for the instant match reaction to the Dundee. No, be back Thursday, sorry. Thursday, sorry. Aye, I'm getting too used to these 1 a week games. But I will be back on Thursday with the reaction to the Antwerp game, hopefully, which is a positive one. So cheers, and we'll see you then.